My name is Hannah, and this is my year of less stuff. Hey y'all, so here's my life right now. I just sat down and was about to put on like a light makeup look for the day and then just get out the door and get started on my work. And then as I was sitting there priming my eyes, I realized that it's Tuesday today, and it's actually Super Tuesday. I voted. It's Tuesday today, and there's just no time slated in the day today for me to film a video for tomorrow, Wednesday, which is one of my regular, always upload days, never missed a Wednesday since the beginning of my channel, and I don't have a video filmed for tomorrow. Is this a thing that happens in life? Like you grow up and then you think you've become a responsible adult who knows how to plan for the future, and then suddenly like your life takes a turn and you're back to being a complete scatterbrained mess and not being able to schedule things more than a day ahead, because that is what happened to me. There are extenuating circumstances which I've indicated, and some I have been able to share with you and some I haven't. I do understand why it's happening to me, but I decided that instead of just giving up and missing a Wednesday for the first time ever, I will hang on by the scrappy skin of my teeth and film a little quick get ready with me that can go up tomorrow. Of course, as I was last month, I'm way behind. This should be my check-in that's going up, and I've been working on notes for it. I'm pretty much ready to film it. I just don't have time to film it today. I only have time to film a quick little one like this. But I'm excited because I have been doing the same eye look all the time for several weeks now. Like, I have this new favorite eye look, and it's sort of like a grimy, grubby, super smoky, blackish brown eye that has like a high sheen, like a wet look blackish brown eye. It is editorial enough for night, for events, and I've worn it to a couple of things like when I've gone out to dinner and stuff, but I also feel like it can kind of work for day. A little bit like I kind of maybe went out to a rock club on a Monday night and then I just slept in my makeup, and now here I am at work on Super Tuesday wearing like a slightly blackish brown smoky eye with a lot of high shine, but it's okay because that's just how my life is. Like, it's kind of that look. So that's what I'm going to wear for day today. That's what I'm going to demonstrate for you. It'll be a little bit of a chit-chatty, but mostly just like a get ready with me, just to have something up, some connection between you and me during this still busy season of my life. Let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. Ugh, this is like the worst day for me to be filming a get ready with me because my under eyes, which are usually like my pride and joy, like I don't really get dark circles, partly because I get a lot of sleep, and also I think because just for genetic reasons, it's just one of the things that I don't have to worry about. And I usually don't get that much puffiness either. I think that my physiology really agrees with the climate in which I currently live, because minor ailments like puffy eyes that have plagued me through my life don't really plague me in California. It's just luck right now, I think. But today my eyes are very puffy and a little bit dark, and I just feel like a squeaky little chipmunk that crawled out of its hole and is looking for nuts. I'm going to zoom in and so that you can see the eye look as I apply it. All right, I hope that that's close enough. I had to do a little bit of finagling with my camera. But while we're here, this is just a reminder that even if you didn't vote in the primaries, it's not too late to register to vote in the general election. So if you live in the United States and you're not registered, don't give up on yourself. You can do it. You can vote in November. And I will pull a smoky glow and leave a link down below to a place where you can register to vote. Let's do this with the eye look. So I've almost always been using the Rowan quad to build the base of this look, and one of the things I really like about it is it takes these shadows that have the finish that I love. I'm going to go in with J'adore, which is like the darker brown. I've actually been really loving this one lately. It's got that mossiness to it. It doesn't really have green in it, but I feel like it has this deep mossiness, mossy gold quality that distinguishes it from the slightly tauper other brown that's in here. One of the criticisms I've seen of this palette is that people say that those two browns are too close to each other in color, and it's funny because those two browns are the thing that I love most about this palette, as it turns out, after all of this time of basically destroying it with use. And they do look really similar on the fingers. Like, this dark one is the one that I'm going to use today, and that's the other one. It's just a little bit lighter, but I feel like they give really different looks, and I feel like if I'm going to be just constantly wearing this like smudgy, glimmery look all over my eyes, and I love a deep sort of tinged bronze kind of thing, I like having two options. I like having the sort of lighter, more neutral, more casual one, and then this kind of like deeper, grubbier one. So I just popped that all over my eyes, and as always, because I have hooded eyes, I went above the crease, and then I'm going to take this kind of dense domed, this is actually an e.l.f. brush, and I'm really going to buff it like almost all the way up to my brows, but try to soften that edge and get an even blend. So that's a decent base for it. It really doesn't have to be super even, like that seamless powdery blend that we see in Instagram style makeup tutorials. That's really not the look that I'm going for almost any time. And especially with this formula, it's really not what it lends itself to. So I'm not super worried about having it look like a gradient. I'm also not afraid to like pull the shadow out because it's this creamy formula with a lot of sort of thick, creamy micas in it. It sort of buffs and smears out, and it doesn't make a harsh edge when I bring it out, and it adds kind of like a sheen to the outside of the eyes going out onto the skin. I just don't feel that worry about not being precise or not having it even out sort of towards the tail of the brow like I sometimes do with powder shadow, and I really like that. So I'm going to put some on my lower lash line while I have this quad out. I think that Rephr is doing like a, so this is my Rephr 03. It's one of my favorite brushes from them, the pencil. I think they're having some sort of like testing. You know how they do testing for brushes once in a while? I think they might be testing the 03 right now. Like maybe you can get a refund for it if you write a review, or like get a gift card for the amount of it if you write a review. Something like that is going on. I'll find out the information. I've been meaning to mention it to you guys, and now I'm using this brush on camera. It's reminding me. Okay, so side note, sorry, my nose is really, I don't know what's wrong with me. I am getting the sparkles all over the place because I have a work situation where I can actually go in looking like I slept in this makeup and like rubbed my eyes after going to a rock club. So that's okay for me. I'm getting a little bit of, especially in the lower lash line, just smudging out this creamy, shiny, textured formula. I'm getting some of it kind of in my inner corner. I'm getting it a little far down onto my eye creases. And I really like that look. You can control it better than I am, especially if you use a brush like this. I'm just choosing to let it get a little bit out of control. One of the next steps is going in with like a sheer, shimmery eyeshadow, which sort of sets it depending on which formula you use, and it also makes it look even more wet. But I'm not, and usually on a day like this, I would be skipping straight to that stage. So not worrying too much about smoking it out or building any depth into my eyes. But because I'm doing this on camera, I'm going to use a little bit of a black shadow and make it a slightly more dramatic and more kind of rocker chick look. And it'll also be a little bit more smoked out. And I'm going to do it, let me grab the shadow. I thought I had everything, but I don't. I am once again going to be using this Persona Cosmetics Identity 2 palette. It is just shot to the top of my palettes. It's like my most reached for, these are my three most reached for palettes: the Rowan Quad, the Persona Identity 2, and the Natasha Denona Gold palette, and I'm using all three of them today. So this is like a real, I'm like really sitting in my gig right now with these. So I love the black in here. And I get some requests sometimes to use black eyeshadow on camera more. I think that it's something that a lot of people are afraid of, and I use black all the time, just kind of in a casual way. So I'm going to take Limitless, the black from here, and I'm going to use it just like I would use black eyeliner on my lash line above my lashes, and a tiny bit, I'm going to just tap a tiny bit in the outer V of each eye, and then I'll smoke that all up into like this area. Okay, so there we go. There I've used black to kind of dirty it up a little bit. I feel like the key to using black in a look like this, or like an everyday look, is just to use a little bit and to place it, and then to spread it around and buff it out over quite a large, maybe a large surface area, way larger than the amount that you placed, to spread it out over that surface area using kind of like a precise brush. You can control where you put it, and to not worry about it being too precise. It is getting kind of messy on this outer corner, but I'm just trying to live my life over here. I'm not trying to spend too long doing my eyeshadow today. Let's stick at that. I forgot to bring an eyeliner over here, but I'm okay with it. I'm just gonna put a tiny bit of black, just the tiniest bit on my lower lash line to define it a little more. I basically put that eyeshadow into my waterline to serve as like a smeary, watery liner. Very imprecise, but I'm kind of liking the way it's looking. Okay, and here is the final step, which is what has really defined this look for me lately, and that is to take this eyeshadow, which is Kava from the Natasha Denona Gold palette. I just had it popped out in this little tiny palette that I made to take with me. I don't remember what I went to recently, an event or something, and these were basically the colors I had used to build my eye look, so I took it with me and I've just left them in here. I am constantly poaching singles from the gold palette. I just want to show you the condition that it's in right now. This is the state of my gold palette right now. Half of the shadows are in palettes. I took some of them up when I went to Portland. Some of them are in here, and some of these are from, I think, the Lila palette or something. They're all mixed together, but it's almost always like that. It's almost always the case where most or half of the shadows don't actually live in the gold palette. They like float around because I use them so much. And this one, Kava, I think is probably my most used. So I am going to pat it basically all over the lid. I might try to avoid some of where I put the black just to kind of keep the dimension. And then I'm also going to smudge it out on my lower lash line. And this is what will give the look that super wet effect. Okay, so there we go. And I will say that I seem to have obscured all of the Rowan shadow with the one from Natasha Denona, but I have done this look without the Rowan shadows. Like I've done it just putting down like a copper shimmer instead of that creamy base, and it still looks good, but it doesn't look quite the same. So even though it seems like I've covered up the textural quality of the Rowan shadow, I just know from comparing it to the opposite that I haven't. It's still holding its own. It's still shining through. Natasha Denona Kava is actually totally sheer. It's like the Fenty highlighter. It's totally sheer but with glitter. So the shadow that you put underneath it really matters, and this look will change subtly depending on if you put like just a regular shimmer down as a base or if you put something super creamy and textural down as a base. I am going to put on my mascara and also zoom out at the same time, and then I'll be right back to finish my face. Okay, there we are zoomed out. I've got the eye look on, I've got the mascara on. I just really love this eye look. It's all I wanted to wear lately. I feel like it works, again, for more formal settings and for casual settings. And no matter what, it's like it makes me feel pretty. It makes me feel glamorous, but not in an overdone way. It makes me feel like the best version of myself, like slightly made up, but in this kind of like grimy way, like not too intense way. It seems like it didn't try too hard, and yet it has this sophisticated gleam to it. It's just really been working for me. I'm really like settling into this type of look for my eyes, and I wanted to share that with you guys. I realized that I was going to try to do sort of a chatty get ready with me, but so far I haven't chatted. I've just put my makeup on. So what can I chat about while I do my face? Oh, I know. I could talk about, because I just remembered when I was putting my mascara on, which, by the way, I'm still just scraping the bottom of the tube of Milani Highly Rated, and then I've been layering on top of it this Grande lash boosting mascara, so that's what's on my eyelashes. But I realized while I was doing my mascara that I did have a plan. I had a plan for today for filming, and the plan got unseated, and that was why I was sort of at loose ends. So I should give myself a little more credit. I'm going to put on the VDL Lumi Layer Primer, and then I think I'm going to do a little bit of Glossier Future Dew just on the tips of my cheeks because I feel like having a really glossy look today. So my parents, for my birthday, gave me a Sephora gift certificate, and I spent it. And my Sephora package was supposed to arrive in the mail today. So that was what I was going to do. I was going to do like a first impressions with the 2 items that I ordered with that gift certificate. And it's not here yet. And it's not coming until tomorrow. I just checked this morning and I was like, oh no, it's not coming till tomorrow. And then I immediately forgot that I even had to film. And I set up the day just to be full of work. I spent part of the morning too making sure that I knew who I wanted to vote for all of the like smaller local things. I mean, I've been thinking about the primaries for a long time, but you know, when you open the ballot, there's all of this other stuff on there. So that took up a larger chunk of the morning than I expected it to. I always like to make sure I do my research and, you know, read about the candidates and stuff, and I just hadn't done enough of that. So I had to do most of it this morning so that I could know who I was voting for. And that's a large part of why the day got away from me. But in readjusting for that, I completely omitted to leave time to film. And it was because I had kind of like tossed the idea of filming out when I realized that my Sephora package wasn't going to be here. But I will tell you about the package. I am thinking of doing it in a kind of exciting unboxing way, like what did I choose, like how did I spend my gift certificate, etc., etc. But if you're watching this video, I'll just tell you now, those of you who watch it can have the inside scoop. And also it's relevant to this video because it's relevant to this eye look. So when shopping with a gift certificate, especially a birthday gift certificate, I really like to, like, one option is I could just buy staple things. Like I could just, you know, preemptively replace like my color corrector or my concealer or something, and then have it as a backup, and then that would save me money because when I run out of the thing that I depend on, I'll have the backup, and that's like a really practical way to spend a gift card. But because I value gifts so much and gift giving is my love language, when I get a gift card for an occasion like this, I like to consciously spend it on something that I wouldn't buy, would never buy, but would like to receive as a gift. And that is what I did this time. And I also really put my mind to the philosophy of fewer, nicer things. I decided I wanted to spend the whole entire gift card on one or two things rather than trying to like get as much for my money as I could get. So with those as my constraints, no, I had one other thing I was thinking about. Hold on, my nose is itching and I gotta remember what I'm gonna do next. Yes, so I'm gonna put this green color corrector from Algenist on, and this is like almost completely dry. I'm not even sure that I can scrape. You know what? I'm gonna try to pop the stopper out, and then I might be able to get a couple more uses out of this. My Makeup Forever Ultra HD, and the same is going on with the Hourglass. I got these at the same time because I really like how they look together. The Hourglass Veil Retoucher. It is pretty much completely dry, really hard to scrape stuff out. So I'm gonna pop the stoppers out of these guys and go ahead and put on a little bit of base. Oh, that was easy, it came right out. I'm using a towel, by the way, to get some grip on the stopper of this concealer. But this one's giving me trouble. I might need to leverage it out with something. This is my depotting tool. Okay, so with the depotting tool, the stopper came out of this pretty easily too. Here's what they look like in case you've never done that before or seen that. These are the little stoppers that pull product off of the wand as you're pulling it out, just to make sure that it doesn't come out with huge globs on it. But when it gets down to the end of the product, you can get more out if you remove those stoppers because you can kind of scrape the edges of the container. So yeah, there's definitely a couple more uses of the Hourglass one, but maybe not this one. This one looks like the edges are pretty well scraped. So the third factor that I was thinking of when I was shopping around on Sephora for things I would never spend my own money on, but that I would love to receive as a gift, I've been thinking about making my eyeshadow collection even more minimal, and like what I would want to own if I really only had a couple of types of eyeshadow, a couple of products, a couple of singles. I might lean into that direction as this year goes on. I've been thinking about getting rid of some more of my palettes. I've been thinking about curating my singles more. And right now I'm so enamored of this kind of look. And I do have obviously the products with which to make this look. And that's why I wouldn't go out and spend my own money on another product that is designed to create this exact look, like a luxurious product. But with a gift card and with the mission to buy something that's a little bit extra or a little bit sort of special and something that I don't necessarily need but that I do really want and that might one day fit into my very minimal vision for my eyeshadow collection. With that as my mission, I ended up getting one of those Tom Ford cream and powder things, like exorbitantly expensive, just two products in one little package, but it's the bronze one. So it's basically this look by Tom Ford in one tiny little compact thing that has a cream and a powder. And it's something I've been curious about for so long. It's so expensive for what it is. It's so luxurious that I would never even have it on my wish list to buy for myself. I would never even buy it at like the Sephora sale. But if my parents had been like, we're going to buy you one thing at Sephora, what do you want us to buy you? I probably would have picked it. That's what I realized. And so I felt like that was the appropriate thing to spend the gift card on, the brunt of the gift card. And then I also threw in something that is very practical for me and that I do think I would have eventually bought. So I kind of did both. And that is the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue foundation stick, because I have been suffering from, I don't know if you can see it in this video, but a lot more redness than I have had sort of in the more recent past, just over the past month or so. And so there have been more days when I've wanted to have like a sheer wash of complexion product all over my face, as opposed to just some concealer in certain areas, which is kind of what I'm doing right now. There have been a couple mornings when I've woken up and just like really wished for something super nourishing that would never in its life cling to dry patches, that I could put as a wash all over my face. And I don't really have anything that serves that purpose. I have the foundation that I use for photo shoots. It's the Stay Naked one, but that's like a real full coverage foundation, and it often ends up drying, like looking dry over the course of the day on my dry skin. I really wanted something that was like super, super nourishing. And that Bare Minerals one is the only one I've ever found that really looks like skin on me. My memory of it, I had a little sample, is that the lightest shade, which is the only one that's light enough for me, is also too pink for me. So I am going to have to mix it with my green color corrector to get it to be yellow enough for me. But that's what I did before when I had the sample, and it worked perfectly. So that's what's in my Sephora box. And I'm hoping to film like a first impressions with those products when they arrive. I think that would be really fun. That's what I was planning to do today, but it wasn't in the cards. I've been really into using mostly my fingers. I went through a long phase. First I was into using a sponge for, a seamless application of these kinds of products. Then I went through a long phase. I'm recently coming off of a long phase of only ever wanting to use brushes. Like I love using a brush. And that my brush use is being like usurped by using my fingers, as I'm doing right now. I've really been leaning into it lately. I really like how you don't lose any product. I also like how I feel like my fingers warm up the product and really push it into my skin. So even if I end up with, like, I have a little more redness here still, in real life it looks like a very natural application. You can't really see the makeup on my skin, and that's what I'm always going for. All right, this is another thing that I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel on. Actually, I'm also gonna pop the stopper out of this. The CoverGirl Easy Breezy Brow. I have almost put it into my empties so many times because it's really dried out, and then I miss it so much. I still love soap brows. The effect that I get with soap brows is still my favorite. Oh no, goodness gracious. Okay, so I basically mauled it while I was trying to get it out. It was the toughest of the three. And then I accidentally pushed it in instead of pulling it out. But then when I pushed it in, I saw all of this product. There's still a ton of product in here. So now the little stopper is in the bottle. It's probably not long for this world overall, but I can definitely get another use out of it today. Yeah, I'll keep using it. Wow. Anyway, I still love the look of soap brows, but I've become more aware recently of how easy it is to mess them up over the course of the day. And then in its favor, in its defense, it's very easy to put your brows back. You just have to brush them back up again with a spoolie and they go back. Like the soap just stays in them and coats them and makes them very manageable all day. But they only set as far as soap itself will set. And I've been wanting something with a little bit more staying power lately, and that's where this comes in. It's my favorite one that I've ever used. And it also adds a little bit of color. All right, so that's a mess. We'll see how long it lasts after this. Oh, let's do cheeks. I have something really exciting to use today, actually. This came in the mail yesterday from Lila B. They came out with a new shade of the lip and cheek, and it's a lighter, more neutral color. My prayers have been answered. So I had the most neutral one, which was Be Lovely, and it's kind of like a ruddy berry nude. And this is Be Incredible, and it's like a much lighter, peachy nude color. Still a bit peachy. Like I would love sort of like a brown, a pale chocolatey brown. Like you guys know me. That's what I want to put on my face. But this is my favorite of all of the colors they've made so far. And I love this formula. The only thing that keeps me from reaching for the other lip and cheek tint that I have, which I do use quite a lot, there's like a huge dent in it, but the only thing that keeps me from reaching for it more than I already do is like the depth of the color. So I'm really excited to have this. And I think I'm gonna mix it on my cheeks with some of the Charlotte Tilbury Spotlight Wand as I do. Ah, I love that. I love it. I feel like it has given me sort of that slightly sunburned look. Not in like a too intense or editorial way, but in a very natural way. And I really like that. I brought it all the way across my nose and the inner parts of my cheeks as I've been doing lately, especially for that sun-kissed look. I've been not putting my mole back on lately, mostly because I just can't be bothered. And I think I'm going to roll with that today. I do feel like I can't be bothered. And I am going to put on this gloss. It's like a Lancome. It was a limited edition collab gloss that they did. It's something I've just been enjoying using a lot lately. It looks like it has color in the tube, but it's basically just a clear gloss. And then it does have this lipstick on the other side. So if I ever feel like darkening up my lips, I can pop that on. Actually, I could use that to put my mole back on. Yeah, it looks like one of those like red beauty mark moles. Kind of cute. Okay, and that is it. That is me today. Although, I kind of want to put on this headband that I have. BRB. Yeah, I'm kind of about that for me today. I will totally link this down below if I can find it. It's by a brand called Donnie, but I got it at a sample sale of their space in downtown LA. They work very close to me, and I actually kind of know the women who do the designing and who run the brand. Really, really cool people and absolutely gorgeous designs and gorgeous fabrics. But I got this, I think I already said this, at a sample sale. And so I don't know if it's totally available online, but I'll link them down below. And of course, I'm going to be talking all about Donnie in my upcoming video about how I spent my budget in February, because obviously I bought some stuff at their sample sale. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for the Sephora video. Stay tuned for my check-in, which should be the next video that goes up on my channel. I think it'll either be Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I can say that for sure. It is coming soon. I'm sorry that I'm, again, a bit behind, but I'm really trying not to spend energy like making myself anxious or making myself feel bad about my scheduling right now, because I need my energy for other things. So I am just doing my best to keep showing up, keep connecting with you guys, keep making content because I love doing it. So I'm trying not to like let that get too pushed out or too cut out of my life. But I'm also trying not to work myself up over the way in which my schedule right now isn't as consistent or as ideal as it really has been for most of the time that I've been here on YouTube. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being understanding. I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know what you think of this eye look, and don't forget to take extra good care of yourself right now so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.